Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's episode of Intuitive Angling, and really appreciate you guys making some time out of your day to check the video out. I know that everybody's busy and you got deluge with bass fishing YouTube videos, so really appreciate you guys checking out Intuitive Angling. Guys, today we're going to be talking about the recent podcast that Bassmaster Elite Series champion, perennial classic qualifier Bill Lowen did with Chris and Trey Zaldangerous on their Zaldangerous podcast this past week. Bill made some very admirable and interesting statements on spotlighting for bass that we're going to discuss in today's video. I think you guys will be interested to hear about it. Also, guys, just a quick invitation. I just like to invite everybody to check out some of Tackle Warehouse's spring sales. They got on all of their stuff going on there, electronics, fishing gear. I'll put my Tackle Warehouse link in the description if you guys want to use that link. And if you need to purchase any tackle, using that link is a great way to support Intuitive Angling here. And if you're one of the people that have been doing that, a big thank you from me and my family. We really appreciate that. Okay, guys, Chris and Trey Zaldangerous is arguably, without a doubt, in my opinion, the best YouTube channel in bass fishing. They have, what they've done with their channel over the past year, I just love it. They have like set the bar for podcasts in the bass fishing genre, in my opinion, along with, you know, just a diversity of other topics. And I will link the video that I'm talking about in today's episode in the description of my video here. So if you guys want to check the full length podcast out, you can do it by clicking on that link. But anyway, Chris and Trey had Bill Lowen on there. Excuse me. They had Bill Lowen on this past week, and Bill Lowen is a freaking hammer. He always has been. He's one of the most admired, talented, skilled anglers. I actually competed against Bill in Ultimate Match Fishing, Joe Thomas's Ultimate Match Fishing. Bill and I got paired against each other. Bill beat me in the competition, so had a chance to fish around him a little bit. But anyway, Bill is arguably one of the top shallow water anglers out there. He's famous for swim jig, you know, different shallow water applications. And he made some extremely interesting points that I don't see how anybody could possibly argue with when we're talking about this anti-forward-facing sonar movement. Now, Bill made a comment that he would like to see it gone completely from tournament fishing, which is very admirable because a lot of the Elite Series pros, they gripe about it, and a lot of them. In fact, I think the majority of them, they gripe about it and they complain about it, but they keep that complaint to themselves. A lot of them have not really had the courage to come out of the closet and stand up against it like Bill did. So kudos to you, Bill, for showing the courage to do that. But anyway, he was talking about he'd like to see it gone, and he went into detail on a lot of different other reasons to really justify why he was saying that. Now, one of the things that and a lot of the stuff that Bill talked about was stuff that I've talked about for a long time on the channel, but one of the things that really hammers home, if you're on the fence with this, is Bill went through the list of all the rules and the Bassmaster rules that are things that you can't do. Like you can't troll, you can't use live bait, you can't long line, you can't get out of your boat, you know, to push it over a sandbar. You can't use a ladder to get a better view of, you know, fish. There's a lot of rules like that are in place to ensure the tradition and integrity and the baseline of what tournament bass fishing is from the Bassmaster standpoint. And talking about the fact Bassmaster has always taken the lead with this. But the problem you have here is they have all these rules that are in place to sort of maintain the tradition, like, you know, outlawing, you know, or banning the Alabama rig as well, things to maintain a baseline of competition. But Bassmaster has refused to do that with the biggest thing that has taken away the tradition of the sport and morphed the sport into something that's just not even recognizable with forward-facing sonar. So there's a tremendous amount of hypocrisy from Bassmaster and other tournament organizations for their stance allowing this technology and not allowing some of the other things that they banned in there. They talked about that quite a bit in the podcast. You guys will have to listen to that. And one of the most interesting comments that Bill was making in there that I just absolutely loved is they were talking about the rash of Elite Series rookies that are on the gray area. They're like breaking rules or coming close to breaking rules, and, you know, which we've all seen that if you followed it. And one of the things they were talking about in correlation with this forward-facing sonar debacle that we're in the middle of, is that in the Bassmaster rules, if you're visually fishing for bedding bass, that fish has got to be hooked in the mouth in order for that to count. We've all seen several different videos this year about Bassmaster Elite Series pros that have, caught some fish that they look like they were sight fishing and they were cooked outside of the mouth, but they didn't get disqualified. That's another story. But the point of the matter is if you are visually fishing for a bedding bass, it has to be hooked inside the mouth for it to be a legal catch. Not so with forward-facing sonar. Forward-facing sonar, you are visually looking at the fish that you're getting ready to catch. It's no different than a bed fish. You're looking at that bed fish, and you're looking at that fish that some of these guys that are good with the technology, they can even tell you the exact size of that bass they're looking at on their spotlight and cheater box. And so anyway, they're looking at their cheater box out there, and they're honing in on this one specific fish that they're trying to target, and the fish bites or whatever. Anyway, they set the hook on it, and the fish comes back snagged in the belly or in the side. We've all seen this class of Elite Series rookies out there that are bringing in these foul-hooked, spotlighted bass. They're hooked in the belly, they're hooked in the side, wherever like that, and they're counted as a legal catch. Somebody answered me this question: what's the difference? If somebody is spotlighting for bass and they hook a bass outside of the mouth in the belly or the side, why is that allowed to be a legal catch? It's because it's not with bed fishing. It's the same thing. So and one of the things that Bassmaster needs to do until they grow a pair and get a backbone and ban forward-facing sonar rightfully from the tournaments like they should do to do the right thing, they need to make it a rule where any bass that is hooked, that is caught from using the cheater box, if it's hooked outside the mouth, in the side or the belly, that fish is not a legal catch. And we've seen it all year long, and you're going to continue seeing that. So without a doubt, we've seen it ever since the evolution of spotlighting has become the dominant technique in fishing. We've seen foul hook bass right and left from it. So that's a rule that's got to be changed, and it wouldn't even have to be a rule if they just do the right thing and get rid of that technology, like they've gotten rid of all the other rules they put in place, like trolling or using live bait. And one of the things that Chris and Bill were talking about, and Tris and Trey, is the fact that, it's not legal to use live bait. And they were making the case, and Bill was, the fact that spotlighting for bass is more effective than using live bait, because you're actually targeting a visual fish that you're moving in real time, seeing how that fish reacts to the lure. And if you use a live crawdad or a minnow, like they were talking about throwing it into a brush pile, you don't know if there's a bass in there. There may not even be a bass in there. So from that standpoint, live bait is illegal for Bassmaster. Spotlighting is legal, and spotlighting is more effective than live bait. So point of it is, guys, lots of great points in this interview. It was a great interview with Bill. I got a lot of respect for Bill as an angler. And like I said, Trey and Chris are just doing an unbelievable job with that podcast. I encourage everybody to listen to every one of them. They've definitely, upped the ante and set the bar for, podcasts and bass fishing. It's without a doubt the best podcast in the whole sport out here. So anyway, guys, I'll link all that stuff in the description. Check it out. I think you guys will like to hear it. Drop me some comments. Let me know what you guys think about it. We'll talk later. See you.